A key part of Russia's covert social media operation to interfere in 2016 election was a targeted effort to suppress the black vote. Russian trolls aiming to exploit racial divisions by deploying thousands of accounts on Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms to discourage black voters from going to the polls. And now ahead of 2020, one of the most prominent civil rights groups in our country is calling for action. In its annual State of Black America report, this year the National Urban League is calling out Russia's election interference and outlining new initiatives to combat voter suppression. Marc Morial is the president and CEO of the National Urban League and joins me now. Thank you very much for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, this was really intriguing. As you know, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago coming up. You told me you were going to have this report. I'm very interested in why you are focusing on this, which goes beyond your usual focus on unemployment, education, housing, and other key metrics of how African Americans, people of color, are held back in our country.
You know, without the right to vote, there is no voice on education policy or jobs policy or tax policy, on anti-poverty policy. Without the right to vote, our community has no seat at the table, no representatives in the process. So the right to vote is a basic, fundamental American right, and we were stunned by the breadth, the scope, the intention of Russia's efforts to suppress the African American vote. And I call it the third component of the terrible trio of voter suppression. The Supreme Court, with its anti-democratic decisions in Shelby and Husted and Citizens United, the over 40 state legislatures across the country that have been on a tear since 2013 in the Shelby decision in seeking to enact voter suppression efforts, and now a foreign actor active and involved with a multi-million-dollar effort reaching over 173 million people on Facebook, posting phony memes and phony ads that suggested to African Americans that they could vote from home. And it continues to go on, hijacking the identity of Black Lives Matter activists and using the voice of those trolls posing as Black Lives Matter activists to suggest to people that they should not vote. This was sweeping, and it's the same as Russia's involvement in Brexit or the French election. This is a clear and present danger to American democracy, and their focus on race is simply something that I don't think the Congress or the Mueller report or anyone has really focused on. So we're highlighting it because we mean to stop it.
The other counterpoint to this, was it not also part of the Russian trolls to exacerbate racial feelings in some white communities, to stir the pot by having false voices, false flags, and representing themselves as black organizations?
So they had a phony online effort called Blacktivist, and then they had a phony effort posing as Blue Lives Matter advocates, and they sought to stoke division blacks and whites in America. They created, if you will, fake rallies. So online organizing is something that's popular today. What these trolls did is send out messages saying there's going to be an anti-police brutality rally at XYZ location. In fact, no activists organized it. It was in effect being stoked and organized by the Russian Federation through the Internet Research Agency. This was an effort to psychologically manipulate the American mindset and also to exacerbate and pour gas on racial divisions in our country. Our intelligence agencies, our law enforcement agencies need to place this at the top of their list of things that have to be thwarted. Our social media companies have to be on guard if we need new laws, if we need a permanent investigator, a permanent special prosecutor, whatever it takes. This is a threat to American democracy.
But how do you feel when the president last Friday talks to Vladimir Putin and gives him a pass on interfering in the election?
He shouldn't have done it. He should have been very forceful. He should have done as Reagan did to Gorbachev and said, tear down that wall. He should have said, Mr. Putin, hands off American democracy. If you want to have a relationship with us, if you want to have a trading relationship with us, stay out of our politics, stay out of our business. do not exacerbate the tensions we have in our country. I expect that of an American president. Reagan did it, Kennedy did it, other American leaders have been very direct, and I think we want our